Okay, so why have such a long title? Well, I figured I'd try something different from another thumbnail with "Get ready, apes, we squeeze tomorrow," or Moas is confirmed. As Bruce Lee once said, my style will be to have no style. So why even bother then? I mean, why make yet another crappy YouTube channel? I mean, I'm late by about 2.5 years, but I want to give it a try. I want to do my part, basically. I feel like I've been sitting on the sidelines just cheerleading way too long, and just last week I finally joined Twitter after hesitating for so long, but I'm really happy that I did because I've already met so many beautiful and wonderful apes who are still fighting the good fight. They're still going out to AMC theaters and enjoying movies, eating popcorn, and taking pictures with their families and friends. It's really good to see. I'm very happy that I actually joined, and I hope to stay out of trouble there. But as I said on my little mini intro, I mean, Redzoom and I have also been doing this. I believe this is the way, basically. We have to make AMC profitable and um, participate. While we're waiting for the squeeze, we're basically just having a good time enjoying movies, and our time will come. I really very much believe that. Now, of course, we're also here for the MOAS, that goes without saying, but what's equally as important to us is exposing the corruption, and we need change, right? This is why I said Peruvian hippie part. Change, man, we need change. That's a real problem, I believe. Our financial system, our stock market is so corrupt. We were exposing so much stuff the last couple of years. And just when you start thinking that maybe there's a light of hope, I don't know, DeSantis has actually seemed kind of cool the way he handled the bug and he's standing up to woke and other things. You get headlines like this, which our boy Kenny is already ready to buy him out and it's going to happen. And, suddenly just deflates everything. It's like, it's just never ever good to pick a side. I believe both sides, Democrats, Republicans, everything is one bad, bad, corrupt system. And we need to keep exposing it, keep talking about it. I mean, I don't understand in what world is it right to be able to advertise that you're basically just buying out our leadership. I don't get it, but it is what it is. What can we do? So, as far as the crafts player part that I put on there, it's basically a way of saying that how at peace we are with this play. Now, I'm kind of a gambler. I do love playing crafts, but I make that analogy because, look, I mean, I've been ready to lose. If I'm wrong, I'm ready to lose the money I've invested, my bet on AMC. Now, I expect a lot more shenanigans to happen before this actually squeezes, but, if I lose, I'll be okay with it. I mean, I will learn from it, I will grow, and I'll move on. But if I'm right, I mean, the rewards are going to be a lot greater than the risks I'm taking. Those are good rules for playing craps. And of course, I'm basically saying that I have my bet down and the dice are out. So I am patiently just having fun playing the game, having my drinks, and be be it what it may. I believe we're winning. We're going to win this. But what you can't do is, put in your bet, dice are out, and you're not gonna be saying, "Oh, please no seven, please no seven, please no seven." You can't stress out like that. That's not a good way to go about this. We are supposed to have been buying, staying in cash, and holding until our time comes, and it will come. Of course, it's not financial advice, but just letting you know how I see things. Now, what kind of? I know that we have a lot of good people, and we should still have a lot of good people with the DD. And some of us say that all the DD is done, and others say that this should never be done. I agree with both. I mean, we have so many smart people that look into the FTDs, the threshold list, the cost to borrow, the all the Ortex short percentages. We look at the limit up, limit down halts, the barcoding, the price manipulation. What else? We don't need. We have talked about this stuff so much. It's not what I would like to talk about. I mean, the mainstream media hits us every single day with articles just trying to discourage us from our investment. Somehow that's still out. I mean, I don't know. I was told that short in the store type of things, they're not supposed to be allowed to be able to bash a stock, but apparently the professionals can do it as well. But who cares, right? I mean, the part that I do care about though is that our own a lot of our own YouTubers in our community are turning in. That worries me a little bit. And I'm just hoping that it's just a little frustration and hopefully it'll boil over. But I can understand, like, if you're a paid shill and you're getting your 5 cents per post or whatever, okay. But if you're actually an ape and you're still holding AMC, but you want to try and play detective and actively spread FUD and start talking bad about the company, about AMC stock, about Adam Aaron, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I've even heard some of them say, like, I'm going to boycott the popcorn and F your credit card. Adam Aaron is sleeping with the hedgies. We have the whole lawsuit to deal with. I mean, why? I mean, why go out of your way if you are invested in this to discourage people and to try and spread all this bad, negative feelings about what we're doing here? I mean, it just doesn't add up to me. That means that maybe you probably have sold by now. I don't know. But if you have sold and you're still staying around doing this, I mean, that's even worse. I mean, I don't understand that behavior at all. Like, why would you? If you sell, you're out, you're out. I mean, if I did that, I would probably just take it out of my watch list and stay the hell away from the stock myself. That's what I would do. But I don't understand what's going on. But hopefully I'll get better. I believe, and I have renewed hope now that I joined Twitter, that there's still the movement is still alive and well, and it's very strong, and it's going to keep going. And my hope is to just get people to, again, just be interested in movies again. We are still finding YouTubers who have large followings, and they're just ready to bash movies too, and that hurts us. I mean, I believe that hurts us. I think we have to get people excited to go to movies, not hating on the experience. But anyway, let me try to cut this short or as short as I can. But I did want to show you that's what I wanted to say about that part. But I know there's so much doubt lately with poor old man Adam Aaron. I mean, I don't have the same problems. I invested in AMC because of Adam Aaron at the time. It wasn't because of Trey, because of anything. He was basically begging people to buy the stock. He was admitting that shorts were clobbering us during the pandemic. And I picked them as my recovery stock. That's how I ended up buying AMC and getting into AMC. Then I ran into this whole thing. But if you're interested, I highly recommend. These videos are old. These are before the pandemic, before any of this stuff. And I found them interesting, and there isn't very many views on this. I don't even know if a lot of people have seen it. I'm sure there's plenty, but you may not have seen this, and I think that it would be pretty interesting to listen to.
Everyone, Adam, great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. And Wilf, Courtney, nice to be with you both.
So talk us through why you feel the market is trading your stock down despite some record ticket sales numbers and decent earnings.
Yeah, actually, this was a great earnings report for AMC that we issued this morning before the market opened. We did report an all-time third quarter high for ticket sales and ticket admissions to our theaters, a strong improvement to our business, especially in Europe. Our food and beverage sales at an all-time record. Our EBITDA, which is really the basic unit of measurement for our company, was up 33% year over year when you adjust out a non-cash accounting change, something called ASC 842. So we really had great results, and the stock actually went right up after we announced. We've been the victim of some short selling during the year. There might have been some game playing with our stock today, but as I said, most people.
It is interesting that he mentioned that, back in 20, I believe this is 2019, 2020.
People who follow the company closely thought this was a very strong record-setting quarter for AMC.
Well, either way, some of those milestones that you mentioned, clearly you still have an EPS loss. And is that a sort of highlight, despite the fact that you have been outpacing some of your rivals, that your broader industry is under serious threat, that you're having record ticket sales, you're doing better than some of your rivals, but you're still reporting an EPS loss and your stock price is still falling quite sharply?
This freaking clown, man. Citadel clowns. I mean, him and the other Andrew guy that I despise, but you can see how they have an agenda to get what they're trying to do. They've been shorting us for so long. They have been shorting AMC for so long, trying to push the streaming. And keep watching. This is actually very interesting.
Well, we're not actually measured on EPS. We're measured on EBITDA. So it's not the most relevant statistic for AMC. Yes, there's a loss, but that has a lot to do with our particular circumstance. We've got a very complicated derivative security in place that gets marked to market every quarter. We also bought three-quarters of our circuit in the last 36 months. So it's whereas most companies report depreciation based on the cost basis of their assets, we use purchase accounting. So we marked all our assets, or not all, but three-quarters.
See, that part is also very interesting. See, I don't know. I know there's a lot of people that know this already, but maybe some who don't, who, the shorts came in on this because of things like this, right? The pandemic landed right after this. I mean, AMC, he bought locations and stuff. And so there couldn't have been a possible worse timing for the pandemic to drop on us. So right as, he spends all that money getting those locations, we get fully shut down. Of course, the shorts know this. Of course, they're very smart and conniving, evil people who saw an opportunity to crush AMC.
Of our assets up to market levels in the last 3 years. So our depreciation expense is large. As I said, net loss, net income, EPS is not the basis of how we're measured. EBITDA is, and on that measure, we had a record 18. Second quarter of 19 was strong. Today we're up 33% year over year. These are good numbers. Your other embedded in your question, though, is the notion that somehow we're under siege. That's really a press fiction that comes out of people realizing that streaming is another way to watch movies, in addition to what might be called the old-fashioned way, where you go to a theater. Except there's one thing: people love going to movie theaters. They do it over 1 billion times a year in the United States. And as I said, in the quarter that we reported today, we hit an all-time record high for admissions at our theaters. So as opposed to our business being under siege, we're actually booming.
Okay, see, Adam Aaron has always looked to me like a guy who wants to try it. We have been under heavy attack from it, and not rightfully is not the word, but I can see why, right? Everybody can see why. Streaming was supposed to be up and coming and taking us out. For the most part, it worked for a while, but hopefully you stay with me. Please stay with me, because this video is actually even better to me. That shows his character to me. This is in part, I invested in him because of what I saw. There's so many people who try to say that he was hired to bankrupt AMC, that is his agenda to finish us off. To me, sounds ridiculous because they haven't done enough to see the guy. Things may have changed. I can't make the call. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it's not what I saw or why I invested in him. This guy looks to me like a guy who did his damn best to save AMC. And yes, the Apes are the ones who have saved AMC, and he has admitted so many times. But if you can, I know this video is long already, but listen to this, because this is kind of, to me, what shows his character and how much he knows about the company.
Weekend will be the biggest box office ever. Last night, Thursday, was the biggest box office ever. It is a true testimony to what great filmmakers and business people they have at Walt Disney Studios. Their chairman and president, Alan Horn and Alan Bergman, make and market incredible movies. Think about this. Of the 12 biggest movies of all time for their opening weekends, Disney has 11 of the 12, and Avengers Endgame is setting a new mark by a wide margin. We've got 10 million seats at AMC set aside just this weekend for Avengers Endgame.
I wonder how much popcorn that means. Adam, what are some of the factors?
So they always take pot shots, I was thinking, this is why I was so happy to finally cancel cable, man. These people are so freaking...
that make this film so successful for movie theaters specifically. One of the obvious ones, of course, is its action content, which makes people want to come to the movie theater rather than wait for watching at home. What else? Are there any other things you can point to? It seems like quite a long movie.
It's
So that's the problem now. Oh, it's such a long movie. Like, why? I mean, a long, great movie is pretty, you know,
3 hours and 2 minutes, but 3 hours and 2 minutes of pure joy. A
exactly.
little weeping, maybe, but people are having a great time. Disney has great storytellers, but every studio in Hollywood these days has great storytellers. In 2018, it was a record year for Hollywood, a record year for AMC. As we look at Avengers Endgame in particular, I think one of the reasons it's so wildly anticipated by moviegoers is the Marvel universe has been around now for since really 2012, and there's been movie after movie and character after character, and they've been woven together into this very important offering, which really talks to all these characters in ways that clearly are resonating with moviegoers. uh, Last night was the busiest we've ever seen. This weekend will be the busiest we've ever seen. We may top it. I wouldn't be surprised if Lion King tops it just a couple months from now. When we look at the slate of movies that are coming out this year, it's really staggering. I think we're about to enter a 9 month period, which will be the biggest 9 months in the history of cinema.
Well, that's sort of where I wanted to go, Adam, which is just how much of an anomaly is this right now compared to what you're seeing broader at the box office in the US?
Well, we've been saying for some
I don't think they foresaw having 3.8 million apes following now.
time that 2019 is going to be a staggering year for the success of the box office. The year started out slowly, but last year started out slowly. People don't remember that in 2018, the box office was down 2.5% through mid April. And then Avengers Infinity War opened, and the year ended up, 2018, up 8%, and it was the biggest box office year in movie history. Here we go in 2019. The year started out slowly. We all knew it was going to start out slowly. And then we have the biggest movie of all time at Avengers Endgame. And there are so many amazing movies coming out. Excuse the list, but Disney's got Lion King and Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2 and Star Wars. Universal's got The Secret Life of Pets 2 and Hobbs and Shaw and the Fast and Furious series. Warner Brothers has It 2, the wildly successful horror movie from last September, as well as Joker, the backstory of the Batman character. Sony's got a Spider-Man coming out. Paramount's got Rocket Man, the bio of Elton John. I mean, it's just an amazing slate for the rest of the year.
See, I really like that about him. Like, he, off the top of his head, look at him just naming out the titles. I couldn't do that. It shows me that he's a guy who's passionate about movies, and that's important to me. Of course, I'm trying to relate to him because I like them as much as he does. Apparently, he can, you can see from his tweets that he watches and knows movies. It's important for me, for my CEO anyway, to actually have a passion for what he's doing or what his company is. We could have a shell CEO, right, a number CEO or something, who doesn't know, doesn't really care. To me, it shows that he actually, when he says that he cares and he wants to save AMC, he means it.
I actually think this could be the first year in history when the box office crosses $12 billion domestically. We won't know till the end of the year, but the next 9 months are going to be huge.
Adam, I wanted to ask a different question very quickly. What did you make of the story that Netflix may buy its own movie theater? Is that something that they shouldn't need to do and they could just work with you guys a little bit more friendly?
Aha, there's the truth, right? You know who is paid by, and you know what their play has always been all this time, and it still is. It still is. Look at Netflix, the way it's booming. Out of just negative news after negative news that they have, they're struggling with passwords, they're doing all this stuff, and the stock just keeps bumping up. I wonder why, right?
Well, I've said on your program even that we'd be happy to show Netflix movies at AMC theaters if they adhere to industry standards about when movies play where. But, on the biggest movie-going weekend in history, this is not a weekend that I'm particularly worried about Netflix. The Avengers Endgame is a reminder that people do want to see movies in theaters on the big screen. And that's not just an American phenomenon. AMC is also the largest exhibitor in Europe. I'm here in London now and went to see the opening of Avengers in London last night. AMC is actually in 15 countries. And last night, Avengers Endgame set an all-time record for the biggest opening night in all 15 countries in the U.S., Europe, and the Middle East. The movies are booming. The record year in 18, it's going to be a great year in 19. Netflix was around in 2018. Netflix was around last night when Avengers Endgame opened. And we're very confident that we can live harmoniously in a world where movie theaters does well, where streamers do well. The appetite for content among consumers literally the world over is big enough for all of us.
Man, what a good guy, right? Harmoniously we can live. He's been trying all this time to be the good guy and actually make it work. But I believe it has been Netflix and Wall Street who conspired to actually end AMC. Hopefully you made it this far. I mean, I really think that was a very, very interesting interview. Or I don't know, it shows his character. It's really, really important to me. If you hear him speak to the camera, he's not a guy who's lying to us. Whether we're right or wrong, that might be another issue. But I believe he's trying for us and he's trying to save AMC. That's not a liar. You want to see a liar? This is what a liar looks like.
Anybody in your organization?
To be perfectly clear, absolutely not.
So if we depose everyone in your organization, we will find that.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
You gotta be kidding me. So the head guy, the smartest guy in the world, pretty much, since he's the top criminal, this is how he looks? Like he literally has to read those, what was it, three words? 4 words maybe? He looks like an idiot. I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, you gotta be kidding me. He's the smartest guy. He doesn't seem to know what's going on in the whole market. He's supposed to know, right? These things, if there's anybody you can ask these questions to, it would be him. This is a liar. That's not a liar. That's a dude. Oh, a better picture of him. That's not a liar. That's a guy that knows and is running his company. Ken Griffin reminds me of him.
To do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
Women are not without electoral and or political, or maybe precise, not and or political power.
This dude is about ready to crack up.
Do you even know what you just said?
I mean, I don't know what world we live in, man, but if you stayed this long, thank you. And hopefully you can come back, do the like, subscribe. If you agree with me. If not, then, what can we do? But sorry to make this one this long, but some things I need to get off my chest. Hope to see you again. Thanks.